So I've been thinking a lot about this whole Katie Case, Melissa Nathan situation. And where I currently stand, unless there's any new information, is that Melissa Nathan is lying. I do think that Katie Case is telling the truth. I think that Melissa is self protecting because there is evidence outside of this case that says she has engaged in uh, smear sites um, and smear campaigns, right? Uh, and here's the thing that uh, I think people, or what Blake Lively wants to do, right? She wants to say because Melissa Nathan has engaged in this, or there's proof or seemingly evidence that Melissa Nathan has engaged in this kind of activity and it's involved Jed Wallace and it's involved Brian Friedman, that must mean that Wayfarer engaged in the same actions. And I would say that's not true. Actually, it is the evidence that Blake Lively has been able to unearth for other people, that has helped reassert the idea of if you are able to find all of this evidence for other cases, why do you struggle so much to find it for your own case? And the reason is because even though Melissa Nathan, Jed Wallace, Brian Friedman, let's just say they're the dream team package, right? Like Melissa Nathan had said, uh, there was no need. Blake Lively's words did her in. So we can hypothesize, we can guess. What if Blake Lively never put her own career on the line with the way she acted? Would would they have engaged in an actual smear campaign? Who knows? Who knows? But I will say there is no proof, no evidence that they actually did. There just isn't. If anything, we see way more often Jamie Heath getting upset about the fact that there was a leak of Blake Lively being the problem. Him saying we did not want to create fires. We were trying to not like get on record to speak about any of these things. So in order to not cause this issue to happen. So he's upset. Don't do things without my knowledge. Don't like da 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 da. So he's upset with that kind of stuff. You see Justin Baldoni saying like all he can do is pray for Blake and Ryan, like that he doesn't want people to be turning on Blake. All these different things. There is too much. Now Steve Sarwitz Steve Sarwitz on the other hand, he gets upset, right? But even then, even in his highest moment of being like uh without consent recorded by Clara, they still couldn't get dirt on Steve Sarwitz, like not to the level that they wanted, right? So they had three people that just wanted the truth to come out about the way that Blake Lively conducted herself. And so I think, if anything, the consistent proof there seems to be of Melissa Nathan's activities outside of what she did for Wayfarer, like actually bolsters their statement that they actually did nothing. And I think that is why Blake Lively was like, well, we don't want just what you ended up having to do. We want information on what you plan to do, what you could have done or could have. And it's like, yeah, people make plans, Blake, but it doesn't, like, he planned to have his film run regular, but you came in and spoiled that plan, right? So you had your own spoilation. A different kind of spoilation, but you spoiled that for him too. So like people can have plans, Blake, but it doesn't mean they did it. And I think we can fight here and there of whether or not they would have done it had she not just done it to herself. But the reality is she did it to herself. And the reality is she was planting things way in advance. August 7th and 8th. If maybe earlier, but I fairly sure we've got enough proof that on August 7th and 8th, she was planting things with content creators. And if in the end it shows that she manufactured or she exaggerated or she added things that were not true in those things that were ending up in those DMs of those content creators, then yeah, she was engaging in defamation of Justin Baldoni. And so she can claim all she wants. This was an act of retaliation, da 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 da. But in reality, They were protecting themselves from lies that were going out to the public. And so, all to say, I stand on the whole issue that I do think that Melissa Nathan is lying. Unless there's new evidence that shows me otherwise, she's got to be lying. To me, she has to be lying. And does it hurt me to say that because they're in a package deal right now as Wayfarer parties? Yes, but at the same time, I don't think it hurts Wayfarer parties because I don't think they engaged in smear campaigns. I believe Melissa Nathan has definitely engaged in it in other things. I mean, there's just too much things that she's denying that if she didn't deny, if she just explained, I would feel more comfortable with. But instead, she did a definitive never, not, she's completely lying. Da 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 da. What am I supposed to do with things that I shouldn't have seen, but I did see? You know, if you're acting like you've never been engaged in any da 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 da, how am I? You don't be going the thread of Blake Lively and just being technically true there, Melissa. Like, but I understand she has to self-protect. She has to save herself. But we'll see how it harms Wayfarer, if it harms Wayfarer. But at the end of the day, I think there's too much proof on the other side that one, they were defending themselves from the lies that Blake Lively was trying to put out, especially now that I know how much she was in the DMs of content creators so early on. And obviously, we can't say definitively that it was Blake Lively's camp because obviously there were a lot of crew members and other people who were also DMing people, trying to get, their perspective out there. But yeah, it sucks when it gets this muddy and messy. But also I think this is the reason why I think Justin Baldoni supporters, I think is really important for us to be honest about the things that we're seeing, because too many times I've seen people like be so staunchly like they don't want anything negative to be potentially attached, that they're willing to bend backwards to make something be something that it's not. And the reality is, for me right now, Melissa Nathan's deposition did not make her look good. Like, I do feel like she lied. Now, I would like to be wrong. But unless she is able to explain away some of the things that we saw, like, that's where my head's gonna be.